Happy Halloween, YouTubers, it's Charlie. So this is going to be my Constantine episode 2 video. It was kind of like a second episode 1, but we did get to meet the Zed character. So I'll totally explain her history in the comics, because she was a really big character. They did change the show just a little after the pilot was shot, so I'll explain what they kept. Namely the map, which is what they're going to use to find new dark arts to dabble in all over the United States. They really didn't change that much, just the actress change was the big thing. Careful for spoilers if you're not caught up, but starting with Top 5 moments. Number 5, evil is spreading. If it seemed weird that they went to a really small town for their second episode, it was just to highlight the fact that evil is spreading everywhere, not just creepy gothic cities like Gotham. It's all part of that Shadow Constantine demon plot that they teased in episode 1. The miners did tunnel into supernatural area, but that's not what made all the Koblenau go crazy. It didn't help either. This nameless darkness is just throwing gasoline on the flames. That's what gave the gypsy woman's power that extra juice. I totally don't expect them to explain what's going on with this, at least for a couple more episodes. We need to learn more about what's going on with the inner circle of demons, and that's probably not going to happen for a while. Number 4, the Koblenau spirits. There aren't a whole lot of details about these spirits from the comics, but in classic mythology they're pretty close to cave goblins. In the episode, they're just the spirits of miners that were killed inside the mine. Remember, Constantine explained that spirits you can see on Earth are trapped. They're not supposed to be here. That's why Heaven was so freaked out in the first episode. More evil things are manifesting in places that they shouldn't be able to. That's what Manny's doing here. That's why he's trying to enlist Constantine's help, even if it looks like he's trolling him most of the time. The mining operation just shook the spirits up a little bit. They were just down there minding their own business. The gypsy is what turned them into killers. That's what Constantine's big save was all about down in the mine. He just reminded them that they're not evil. It's getting a lot easier for them to do things like this on television with visual effects, so expect to see more cool looking creatures this season. They won't just be dealing with demons, it'll be all manner of spirits and supernatural creatures. Visually, they reminded me of Melisandre's smoke baby from Game of Thrones. Number 3, Constantine dabbles in the dark arts. I don't think him casting the spell in the jar of water was dark magic, but I was excited to finally see him use his powers in a visual way. He does actually have real supernatural powers. Most of the time though, he works through other agents like Zed, who have much more specific abilities. One of the big aspects of his character from the comics is that he has a lot of people like Zed who have supernatural abilities that he works with from time to time. Constantine's supernatural ability just allows him to create his own luck. He uses it to talk his way out of situations. He's claimed to have pulled a fast one on both Lucifer and God. So whenever Zed asked him what he was going to use for protection and he just said, "My wits," that's what he was talking about. When he's on his game, he can talk his way out of everything. But he is a pretty epic mess of a human being, so his wits aren't going to save him from getting his ass handed to him every week. I would expect him to get punched in the face at least once per episode. Now that we have the Zed character, that's going to happen a lot more, just in a much more playful way. Number 2, you need faith to raise evil. Constantine was able to raise the dead husband's spirit, so he must have a little bit of faith in him. He does despise both heaven and hell, but his spells wouldn't have any power at all if he didn't have faith. That was also a big callback to that first episode when Shadow Constantine said his spells lack the power of conviction. I expect them to pay that idea off a few more times. His faith will be tested, he'll fail, then he'll have some big epic success against one of the big villains. All part of the hero's journey. Him raising the evil spirit was also a nice callback to his story about Astrid being drugged to hell by a demon he raised. That's going to be one of the bigger arcs. I don't know if they'll take the series that far in season 1. Something I'm hoping we see, but that they haven't promised, is that Constantine will actually go to hell, like he'll travel to hell physically. He'll have to do that to save Astrid anyway, so we might get to see that. And my number 1 moment, of course, meet Zed Martin. So if you haven't read the comics, Zed is from Hellblazer. She appeared for the first time in Hellblazer number 4, so she's totally old school. During her run in the comics, she and Constantine had an on-again, off-again sexual relationship. So that's why they were so playful in the episode. She's the female lead on a network show, so she'd have to have sexual chemistry with her co-star, but they pushed it much further because it was a big thing in the comics. One of her biggest storylines was Resurrection Crusade. She ended up getting targeted by this cult led by her father to become the vessel for the next Messiah. Because she had had sex with Constantine the night before, the whole thing got botched, and she did not survive. That was after a long run in the comics, and I don't think there's any way that they're going to kill Angelica Salaya off. That's the actress that plays Zed. So just expect them to avoid that storyline in the comics. All in total, Zed was in a little over 30 issues. I know that doesn't seem like a long time, but it was. She's a huge deal, so I'm really happy that the show's doing her. Let me know though, what was your favorite moment from the episode, and what do you think about the Zed character so far? While you guys think about that too, here are a couple Easter eggs that I spotted. First are Constantine's tattoos. We only see them on him in the episode, but the movie made them a really big thing. Like, they actually do things. They're a proprietary blend, like he likes to say, of custom runes. We also got a much better look at Zed's charcoal drawings. They're all covers of big Hellblazer comics. Let me know though if you did spot any other Easter eggs in the episode that I didn't list, just write them below in the comments. Overall, I gave the episode a solid B. I thought it was stronger than the pilot, but pilots change so much. Usually second episodes are way better all the time. Producers and writers are just able to fix things they don't think worked, recast actors if they need to, just make any of the changes they feel they need to make the show better. I think it's going to be a few more episodes before we find the rhythm of these characters. And even though I totally love Lucy Griffiths, I feel like the Zed character is a much better foil for Constantine. I am going to give them a few episodes before I pass judgment, but so far I'm totally loving their energy. They have a very honeymoon sweet kind of energy. Next week, I think the other main characters are back, so we should get to see the full team in action. The real purpose of this episode was to intro that Zed character. I love the way they played that ending too. They're presenting her as equal parts bad and good for Constantine. They have this weird symbiotic relationship where they're really awesome together and really bad for each other at the same time. So I am excited to see them get into a lot of trouble together. I feel like that's going to be half the fun, just watching them get into bad situations. Next week though, Papa Midnight from the comics is coming on, so be sure to subscribe to get my video. I'll post it right after the episode airs. Heads up to Doctor Who finale happening over the next 2 weeks. It's a two-parter, so be sure to check it out. It is going to be freaking crazy. So in case you haven't seen it yet, you can click here for my Constantine episode 1 video, and you can click here to learn about Constantine's history in the comics. Thank you so much for watching, so let's all high five, and I'll see you guys this weekend.